Just moments ago, off a 7-game series, Houston did not look gassed as Denver did. Los Angeles Lakers down entering the fourth quarter, and in the fourth quarter, Eric Gordon cannot leave that man naked from 3. The lead swells to 8. Is Russell Westbrook still one of the most ferocious competitors on planet Earth? Last time that I checked, who are you yelling at? There's no one there. It's a 15-point lead. It's now 17. Gordon gets the easy lay-in. James Harden, 17-point lead. Lakers really wanted to charge there. Instead, it was an and one. Anthony Davis couldn't get to his spot. And when it's over, the Lakers lose by 15. Houston takes game 1. You see the longest winning streak in the conference semis in playoff history for LeBron James comes to an end. Lakers following the Bucks and losing game 1 of each of their first 2 playoff series as a 1 seed. Not great when you consider that under this playoff format, the previous 3 teams to do that did not go on to win the title. Hi there, welcome. This is Sports Center. We continue on. I'm Scott Van Pelt with you. Mark Jackson and Tim Legler join me now. And Tim, I'll get to you in a moment. Mark, you just called this game, so you're there in the building and you can really sense the energy that this Houston team brought to the fore. It's just 1 game. LA dropped the first one to Portland, but I wonder what you saw out of Houston that you think might be repeatable.
Well, automatically coming into this series, the one team that I thought the Houston Rockets should stay away from was the Los Angeles Clippers because of their ability to defend the perimeter. Throw 3 guys that are lockdown defenders in Beverly, Paul, and also Kawhi. This Laker team is a matchup made for this Houston Rockets team. Not saying they'll beat them, but they have a legitimate chance because they have a home run hit in James Harden. It's tough to double team because you play big. As long as they defend the way that they defended today, and then they take care of the basketball, it's going to be a long series, in my opinion.
Mark, before I let you go, I'm always interested just in energy. You would recognize that as both a player and a coach. Just what do you recognize out of Houston that they brought tonight? And was it perhaps surprising given that they just came off of this 7-game series against OKC?
No, I think they let their head down. These are 2 guys in this on this Houston Rockets team that are from Southern California. So this is something that they dreamed of, the opportunity to play against their hometown team, the Los Angeles Lakers. 60 points combined between Westbrook and Harden, along with 23 from Eric Gordon. They had their way offensively, and they battled defensively. This is a big-time win for the Houston Rockets.
Mark, appreciate it. Get out of there, get some rest, get some dinner, whatever. Look forward to talking to you down the road. And now, Tim, I'll bring you in, and I'm curious just – I think sometimes we want to have an explanation for everything. You know what I mean? We want to find a reason why something happened. Sometimes just one team kicks the other team's butt. I felt like Houston brought energy and passion that the Lakers really couldn't answer. What'd you see?
Yeah, they did. They did. And look, contrast what Houston looked like tonight with what the Denver Nuggets looked like in their first game. And both of those teams went 7-game series. Denver looked gassed about 4 minutes into the second quarter, and it lasted the rest of the night. This Houston team is a testament to, one, the athletic ability and energy of Russell Westbrook and the intensity of Russell Westbrook. You can say what you want sometimes about him with shot selection and turning the ball over a little bit. That dude is ready. When the lights come on, Russell Westbrook is ready for the challenge. And then James Harden, just his physical strength. You know, he didn't wear down the way a lot of guys would having to play 7 games. So I just thought their readiness was fantastic at the start of this. And then it comes down to this whole series. Who's going to win the matchup? Are the bigs of L.A. going to get to the line more, control the glass, dominate them when they get switches? Or are the Houston Rockets smalls going to be in the paint all day for kick-out threes and beating guys off the dribble to penetration at the rim? Tonight, it was in no contest. The Houston Rockets did everything they wanted to do in all of those matchups, and the Lakers' bigs didn't win any of them. They basically were a standstill on the glass. They shot fewer free throws, and they couldn't keep the ball in front of them pretty much all night whenever they got switches. So chalk the first one up to Houston smalls, and that's what I thought this would come down to, but I just thought the Lakers' bigs would play a lot more physical and tougher and dominate, and they just never got around to it.
And Tim, I guess what I'm alluding to, and Mark as well, I'm going to get your thoughts, Mark, after I asked Tim this. I think what I was talking about with we want to find an explanation for everything. The other night I was wondering, there's so much weight on Houston's shoulders taking on OKC. You can't lose to Chris Paul, right? Because then we're coming for you. You lose to that team in the first round. And are you freed up to just play? You know what I mean? I wonder, is that reasonable to think that played into this, Tim? Because that feels like it's almost like trying to create an excuse, in a sense, for the Lakers.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. There's no question. It was an enormous sigh of relief. James Harden makes that play at the end of the game. They survived it. And obviously now you're going to feel that sense of fresh air. The question is, will you have the energy to match it? And they did. So, look, in game one, yeah, Scott, you're definitely going to feel that. But as the series goes on, if this becomes a back-and-forth series, then, yeah, the pressure will start to mount the deeper you get into it. But it almost sounds like, is the question, was there just a little bit of house money in game one playing the number one seed when you just survived a 7-gamer against OKC? No question. And Houston played like the team that was more loose. And the more the game went on, I thought the Lakers tightened up, and they actually, about early fourth quarter, they really looked defeated and demoralized. That surprised me for a number one seed and a team that LeBron James leads.
All right, fellas, sit tight for 1 second. Coach D'Antoni from the Rockets after this 15-point opening victory in the conference semis with these thoughts.
No, we definitely executed really well. I thought the first half, especially the first quarter, we had a few lapses that we could have done a little bit better. But second half, defense was right on point. Made them work for every shot, every point, and that's what we want to do if we can keep them out of transition. We turned it over a few times, too many, but didn't kill us.
Mike, it wasn't just the scoring for James in the first half, especially in the first quarter. He was deflecting balls down low, playing almost center position for you guys. How much did his intensity offensively and defensively set the tone for you guys tonight?
It always does. His defense has been really good all year, and now it's even in the bubble, it's been even better. And he sets the tone when he's like that. I can't, I've talked about him so much that how good he is that, it's just like, just another normal game for him, which is probably, you can't get much better than that.
Mark, we see guys afterwards looking at the box score, and I'm always curious, what are you looking for in a box score that tells you something? If Anthony Davis only shoots 4 free throws for the Lakers, I can't think that that's what you want against this undersized Houston team. Is that something that'll stand out when they take a look at this?
Well, it'll stand out for the Lakers, and it'll stand out for the Rockets. For the Lakers, it'll be what do we have to do better. For the Rockets, it'll be what do we have to continue to do. 41 rebounds apiece. So the Lakers should dominate the boards, which they didn't. And I'm of the belief that if I'm the Houston Rockets, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Eric Gordon, I believe you have no answers for me. I believe I can get a good look at any point in time. As long as they make the Lakers beat them on their terms, that's Anthony Davis catching the basketball at the top of the key or at the free throw. LeBron James not getting into the seams like we saw him getting the N1. If you can take those things away from the Lakers, they are very, very guardable.
Again, Mark, thanks for the time, and we'll talk again soon. And, Tim, I do have one more thought for you, and I'm just curious about the defense of Tucker. This is a corner 3 specialist on offense, and I watched him on the defensive end, and he never stopped working, man. It is a busy, busy dude out there on the floor. What stands out for you?
Yeah, you know what? This postseason, you look at guys like P.J. Tucker, Marcus Smart, and you go, how do I even put a value on how much they contribute to winning? You watch P.J. Tucker tonight, and the reason they can even get away with playing small lineup is because of the physical toughness and strength of P.J. Tucker. That's what it comes down to. And this is Anthony Davis. He doesn't even think about putting the ball on the floor because P.J. will beat him to the spot. So by forcing him out to 15 feet and having him settle for that face-up jump shot, you've already won the battle. And then here, this is a situation where he is out of position against LeBron James, who's got a couple inches on him, he's got probably 20 pounds on him, and he beats him to the basketball and then is the first one to the floor. And then another example there where Anthony Davis is trying to go one-on-one against James Harden, and P.J. Junker just comes over and just takes the ball from him, like you're taking someone's candy. You can't put a value on everything he does. Mike D'Antoni has tried verbally, but I think when you really watch him play in a game like this, knowing how much his team was going to need that kind of defensive effort and physical toughness, man, you just have such an admiration for what he brings.
Tim, appreciate it. Interesting and entertaining night here. Rough night for the one seeds. We'll get to the Bucks a little bit later. Thanks, man. We'll talk about that.
You got it.
All right, time to do your research here on this one. LeBron James dropped 6 of his team's last 7 game ones. The good news is that they came back to win 4 of the previous 6 times. The only loss was to the Warriors. James had a 15-game win streak in the conference semis until Friday. That's over. So the last conference semifinal loss since 2015, James Harden led the way once again. This was the 39th time this season, including the playoffs. He scored more points than minutes played. Pretty remarkable out of Harden. Again, think about the weight that was on their shoulders entering into that Game 7 against OKC, and it was chaos there at the very end. And free and easy, I don't know, man. And again, trying to apply too much definition to 48 minutes of basketball oftentimes is a mistake. Case in point, this Laker team lost Game 1 to the Blazers. I think Charles, did he have the broom out that night in the studio down there? Not so much, because the Lakers then swept them the last 4 games of that 5-game series. Rockets, awfully impressive tonight. And again, I can't help but juxtapose the way they played the other night. So tense, so much to lose if they fail. And tonight, the passion, the fury of Westbrook and the competitive fire that you saw from him and Harden. And they take the opening game against the Lakers with Game 2 to come on Sunday. All right, just getting warm. We'll hear from James Harden